on the Texas State Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to the Eat 'em Up Radio Show with head football coach G.J. Kinney. The Texas State football season is presented by HEB. Here, everything's better. Here are Clint Shields and Brett Freeman.
On this Margarita Monday, and we're getting ready for a preview tonight. Looking ahead at Texas State against Southern Miss. The Bobcats going to the Rock to Hattiesburg to take on the Golden Eagles. And first things first, Clint, how are you in this Margarita Monday?
I am well, and this week, today especially, feels like football season. Finally, we're getting
Weather.
yes,
Yes, it does.
exactly. And
Yes.
it's going to a place this week where we've had nothing but success. So the two things I think kind of go together. Good omen to start the week.
Absolutely. So again, we're previewing Saturday's game coming up against Southern Miss. Our guest tonight, Bobcat cornerback Jaden Rios and Headman's basketball coach Terrence Johnson. And we're also taking questions from the fans. But first, let's introduce him, the head coach of the Bobcats, G.J. Kennick.
Thank you. Thank you. We missed you last week.
I missed you,
I know.
Coach. Yeah, but, it was opening day for basketball. I had to be there on assignment for that. But I'm back with you this week, Clint as well. So I hope the show went okay.
It was.
Okay.
It was a barn burner.
Right. Well, Coach, doing to start with the game this past Saturday, a tough one against Louisiana, 42 to 39, but you almost came out of a 22-point hole in the fourth quarter to come back and win that game. Couldn't get that last fourth down stop as Louisiana was able to run up the clock afterwards. What do you take away from a game like that?
Obviously disappointed anytime you lose a game, a close game like that. You're super disappointed. I thought the guys battled hard in the second half. I thought we played some of our best, football really of the whole year in that fourth quarter. So we have to find a way to play inspired like that and replicate that type of performance for 4 quarters.
Yeah, I thought complimentary football is what you played at fourth quarter. Offensively, you couldn't be stopped. Defensively, you got a big turnover leading to a touchdown the very next play. Yeah, and I know it's hard when you're looking at losses to think about individual efforts, but I want to point one out. Bo Sparks had an unbelievable game. 10 catches, over 180 yards. Also had that fly sweep run for a touchdown, so over 230 yards of offense, 2 touchdowns in the game, both in that big fourth quarter for you. Just how valuable of a weapon has he become?
Yeah, Bo's, he's kind of been our go-to guy all season. Obviously, him and Chris Dunn are kind of the dynamic duo, and they feed off each other, and both of having phenomenal years. Obviously, Chris was banged up a little bit, but Bo's just, he just brings it every day. Great kid, comes out there to work every day and gets better. Great leader, and he's really fast, so that helps too.
I know when the season started, nobody expected to be in this situation. And after the way you played in non-conference, certainly nobody saw 0-5 in the crystal ball. You started Sunbelt play. 4 of those games decided by one play. Uh, so how tough is it to be in the situation? How is the team handling it right now?
Yeah, very tough. I think, like you said, I think there were some questions going into the season, and then the way you start going 3-1, beating UTSA at the Dome, you're expecting some big things, and for whatever reason, those one possession ball games, like you said, one play really in a couple of games really was the difference. And then sometimes things kind of snowball on you when you start losing. Same thing when you start winning that momentum. Same thing when you start losing. So we got to find a way to get out of that funk. And it's a great opportunity this week. Versus Southern Miss on the road. The best team in the West, and we got to bring our A game.
And is there a good feeling in knowing that there's still so much for you to be playing for, that it's out there? If you're able to win out and get back to a bowl game, is there that? How do you handle that as well?
Yeah, I think that's probably in the back of your mind, but I think for us right now, it's having a good Tuesday practice and trying to go find a way to beat a really good Southern Miss team that'll get after you really in all three phases.
Coach, you talk about bouncing back and having to kind of rally and get back to work. And, that's obviously the message from you. How well do you think that message gets through from what you see out of your guys in the locker room, from what you hear from your leaders? How do you anticipate them taking the field on Tuesday?
Yeah, I think we'll take it just like we've been taking it. I think we got really good leaders in that room. I've already had multiple guys come up to me, defensive guys, saying, "Hey, I'll do whatever it takes to get on offense this week and 2-point conversion or offensive guys saying, "Hey, I'll go play safety," whatever it looks like. I think they're just hungry, and they're ready to stop feeling like this as well.
I want to go back to a word you just used, inspired. Talking about the second half of play, especially. You allowed 143 yards defensively in the second half, and I think 61 of those came on that last drive. Credit to the Cajuns for converting a couple of third downs, or a third down and then a fourth down to run out the clock. But you take that away, 80 yards up to that point in the second half. Defensively, you had 8 tackles for loss on the night. 7 of those came in the second half. Was there a change at halftime, an adjustment? What was it that led to the difference? Because there was a definite difference on the defensive side of the ball in the second 30 versus the first 30.
Yeah, I think guys just didn't want to get embarrassed. They looked at the scoreboard and knew we were better than what we had been playing, and came out and played inspired. And I think, like you said, that complementary football, and that's what I've been preaching all year. When we play like that, we're really tough to beat. We really are. I mean, we can score some points in a hurry. You get some takeaways, you get some TFLs, and those things can happen. We just haven't done that consistently enough. But when we start getting that momentum, that's what we've made a living on the last couple of years. That's how we've won football games.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, just hasn't happened this year. But I think I would love to see what happens if we get off the field on that 3rd and 13 at the end of the game.
I was just
But
about to ask you. We got off the plane when we got back on Saturday night, and you and Jeff and I were walking into the hangar basically together into the terminal, and you said, "Boy, I wish we'd had one more possession."
yeah,
And when you look
yeah.
back on how much does that haunt you? That one more possession. How bad did you want that?
Yeah, it definitely does, and but for me, especially an offensive guy, you look at some of the other drives that we had in that second half,
Yeah.
and really in the first half too. So it's a woulda, coulda, shoulda type situation, but ultimately we have to be better and capitalize when we have our opportunities.
Yeah, 528 yards of offense in only 22 minutes of possession the other night. I mean, the yards per play for you was pretty astounding at the end of the night when you look at it. There were a couple of offensive wrinkles. Brant already mentioned the end around that Bo Sparks scored on. Later, you scored on the even more unconventional toss to Perry, throw it back to Brad Jackson, throw it down the field to Bo Sparks. How many of those type plays do you have in your pocket on any given night? And who makes the decision in the moment to maybe this is the time we need to bust one of those out?
Yeah, that's a head coach call for sure, and I think we practice those plays weekly, just depending on which one we feel like fits a certain type of scheme defensively. So, we have them in the arsenal, and we work them, and a lot of credit to Coach Will Bryant, our tight end coach for the we called it Jackson is what we called
Yeah.
that play just because of Brad and Action Jackson and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of credit to him for finding that play and us working it and perfecting it really in a couple of days.
A couple more individual notes, Coach. DJ Taylor did some kick returning for you the other night.
Yep.
Jalen Jenkins' status was he injured? Why the change? And DJ Taylor, not a guy who's unaccustomed to it. He had a 100-yard return in his earlier career at Arizona State. A guy who's seen a lot of football. Break down his job running back kicks. Inspired certainly was what I took away from his running back.
Yeah. Jenkins got banged up a little bit, and with his status throughout the week, a little bit up and down. Getting DJ some reps in practice, something that he's done plenty of times, as like you said, has a couple cut touchdowns in his previous playing days at
Yeah.
other schools. So, he came in there. I thought he, had to knock off a little rust on the first one, but then, really got after it. So he's a really good player, and that's one of the reasons we brought him here is because of his special teams value.
There was a defensive play that led to an unfortunate incident. Obviously, Bobby Crosby being back and coming up with a pick and a couple other big plays, inspiring considering the fact that, he left in an ambulance the last time you were on the field. But about as hard a hit as you'll see and not get a flag for in the 2025 version of football occurred on a kick return when Chance Johnson
Yep.
leveled a kick returner. Unfortunately, both of them stayed down and came off the field, and Chance had to leave the game. How was he afterward? What's his status?
Yeah, that was a violent hit, and he's really good on special teams.
Yeah.
He's fast, he's physical, he's fearless, and he's been a great addition for us, especially as a young player. We'll see what his status is. We got a couple days, but probably doubtful for this week.
Well, then again, a look back at the game this past Saturday in Lafayette. Coming up next, We'll preview the game coming up this weekend against Southern Miss. On the Texas State Sports Network, this is the Eat 'em Up Radio Show from Learfield.
Hi, this is Fox San Antonio's Chuck Nicotinic, and I'm News 4's Don Harris. One of the best things about our jobs is calling the games on Taco Cabana's Thursday Night Lights every Thursday on CW35. Goes right and then takes it right back up the middle, and look at him finish the run. Firing, got it, hard! If you're interested in video production, journalism, or covering sports for a living, our stations have job opportunities you might want to check out. To see the possibilities, go to foxsanantonio.com/careers.
At Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos, we are proud to provide comprehensive health care to our San Marcos and Central Texas families. From advanced cardiovascular, bariatrics, orthopedic, and surgical care to 24/7 emergency care. In partnership with a team of dedicated primary and specialty care physicians, we are privileged to care for our rapidly growing San Marcos and Central Texas communities. We're here when you need us, bringing more physicians, more services, and more technology closer to home. Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos. Your health, your life, our purpose.
When my paycheck comes, I always plan lunch with my friends. So getting to do that 2 days early really hits the spot.
At UFCU, we help you make the most of your money. With over 55,000 fee-free ATMs and payment up to 2 days early, finances fit your life, not the other way around.
Oh, and splitting the check is simple. Just an easy transfer right from the app.
Become a member and open an account today. UFCU, it all starts with you. Must meet eligibility requirements. Visit ufcu.org for more information. Federally insured by NCUA.
Texas Disposal Systems is proud to be part of the San Marcos community since 2003. As the official waste and recycling sponsor for Texas State Athletics, we are committed to keeping the stadium clean and environmentally friendly. Bobcat fans, let's make a difference together. Do your part by recycling properly at all games. For more tips and info, visit texasdisposal.com. Texas Disposal Systems. Noticeably different, noticeably better.
Welcome back to Jimmy's on this Margarita Monday. Eat 'em Up Radio Show with GJ Kinney rolls on. I'm Clint Shields with Brant Freeman and the head coach GJ Kinney as we start to look ahead to this Saturday afternoon as the Bobcats head to Hattiesburg to take on the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Our scouting report this week presented by Sinclair Broadcasting. Cats a winner last year. Big at home over Southern Miss. 58-3, as I recall, was the final, and won last time in Hattiesburg 50-35 or something like that. Got off to the quick start and held on coming home through the second half, but headed back to Hattiesburg this weekend. Charles Huff in his first year as head coach there after taking Marshall to a conference championship. We've chronicled before how, his odd journey from a conference championship to not having a job, a week later, and landed in Southern Miss, took a lot of his players with him. I think certainly shows his ability to coach a football team, and that he took a new job. He brought a lot of players with him, yes, but still, you're in new surroundings, installing a new system, and here they are 7-2 and atop the Sun Belt West. What are your dealings with him in the past? How well you know him, and what are your overall impressions of this year's Southern Miss team?
Yeah, I don't know Coach Huff that well, just from head coaches meetings, and just know that I have a ton of respect for him, and the job that he's done, since he's been a head coach is pretty remarkable, and one of the best coaches in the country, and he's rolling right now.
Rolling indeed. They come off of a big win at Arkansas State on the road, 27-21. A number that stands out to me. Two numbers offensively. They can get it done. He brought his quarterback with him from Marshall. They had 500-plus yards of offense against Arkansas State. But defensively, typically where you start in the week in terms of preparation, they took it away 6 times. 5 turnovers, or 5 interceptions. 1 fumble on the day. Defensively, what did they do, and in kind of your review of that film, to come up with that many takeaways?
Yeah, I think I think they lead the country in turnovers, and they run a really good scheme. They have really good players. They play hard, and they're feeling the juice right now. They got the momentum and just playing really well. I think their back end is probably the best that we've played so far, maybe besides Arizona State. And linebackers are experienced, good players, young. And they have a D-line that'll really get after you. They don't have to blitz to create pressure. They'll get after you with a 4-man front. And their defensive end is probably the top in the league.
You've had success throughout the season running the football. Talking about that D-line, especially, you mentioned the pressure. how do they stack up against a run game in terms of run defense from what you've seen?
Yeah, they do a good job of popping linebackers and creating some movement, up front. And they're big, they're long, and they're just a really good defense. I know their defensive coordinator pretty well. He was actually a GA when I was at Tulsa,
Mm.
and great motivator, very smart, and he's putting his guys in really good positions to make plays, and they're making them.
One of those guys that you got to watch out for is Josh Moten, Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Week. I think it's the third time in 5 weeks you've gone up against the Sun Belt's Defensive Player of the Week. He had 3 interceptions in the game with Arkansas State. Where does he line up? What does he do to put himself in a position to be where the ball winds up?
Yeah, he's he's a long, fast corner that you can just tell is very smart. He does some subtle things out there on the field that you can just tell watching his film that he's a very intelligent player. He plays off and gets his eyes in the backfield, gets eyes on the quarterback. He loves the jump ball, has great ball skills.
Yeah.
And he can challenge you if he needs to, but most of his interceptions come from his ball skills and intelligence, in my opinion.
Again, Texas State taking on at Southern Miss this Saturday. And as Clint kind of chronicled, the Golden Eagles are coming off a really tough year a year ago. Had a midseason coaching change, only won one game last year. You took care of them handily. Then you bring in Charles Huff, and it's been a remarkable one-year turnaround for them. I know you're not in with that program right now, but as someone who has studied the league and watched the success, do you chalk it up to uh, coaching, talents, leadership, all the above? How do you have a turnaround like that so quickly?
Yeah, I think a little bit of everything. Just going over the defensive personnel, and I think all five, uh, both corners, both safeties, and the star all came from Marshall a year ago, and on the championship team. So obviously they have really good players, but you don't just win games because of good players. The coaching has to be there, and obviously coach is really good and has really good coordinators. Offensive coordinator has head coach experience. Like I said, the defensive coordinator does a really good job. So they're just a well-coached team that happens to have really good players as well.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the defense. The turnovers forced. Only SMU has forced more this season in the country, 25 of them, 6 this past weekend in Jonesboro. And we've used the term a lot, complementary football. If you isolate that to just the defense, looking at Southern Miss, how much does their defensive front affect the secondary and vice versa?
Yeah, I think it always goes hand in hand, and like I said, they can get pressure with 4,
Mhm.
and that's tough to do at this level, and I think it, like I said, great scheme, but also have really good players, and they know what they're doing. Last year at Marshall, their defensive end I think got drafted in the late first, early
Yeah,
second
right.
round to the Ravens, and so they kind of have they have a type and looking for a certain skill set up front, and they definitely have it at number 14. He's a dynamic pass rusher.
Yeah, one of the transfers from Marshall we haven't talked a lot about yet is Brendan Braxton.
Yeah.
The quarterback for the Golden Eagles is having a remarkable year, leads the Sun Belt in touchdown passes this year with 19. What stands out about his play?
Yeah, another guy that I recruited, unfortunately. He signed with my alma mater out of high school and played there for a couple years, got into the portal, and then he was actually, I think, the first quarterback I offered when I got the job here originally. Um, when first got the job, offered him. He ended up going back to Tulsa, played another season, got back in the portal, re-recruited him, ended up going to Marshall and one player of the year. But really good player, big, athletic, physical. Another guy that's really developed as a passer. He's night and day what he was compared to when he was at Tulsa, and he's got a strong arm, but he's very very similar to he's bigger than me, but very similar to how I played. I mean, he's 6'3", he's 240 pounds. He can run it, he can throw it. He's a great leader. He's tough. He's just he's definitely the player of the year. Last year, kind of what he did, and he's kind of on track to do that again this year.
Coach, I know something that you mentioned throughout the season is how hard your offense has had to work for points. Now, they've been able to complete that work, but sometimes it takes 80, 85-yard drives to get there. Looking at a game like this, how critical will it be to win the field position battle to come out with a win ultimately in this game?
Yeah, I think that's something we can get better at. Just like the first drive of the game, you know me, I wanted to go for that 4th and 1 more than anybody. But early in the game, first quarter, and we didn't capitalize, and it wasn't on the punter. Coach Burns got to do a better job of getting us into a better situation. But and Nunez probably hit one of his better punts he's ever hit. So it was kind of an unfortunate situation. But things like that, we gotta take advantage of the complementary football. When I make a decision to be conservative and punt, we got to be able to pin them inside the 5 yard line and create good field position. And same thing, too many times we've started, in unfortunate situations. We're super explosive on kickoff returns, but also, we got to do a better job of putting our offense in better situations.
Coach, I'll admit, I was the first one to admit I was shocked when you didn't go for it in that spot when the punt team ran out. I was quite surprised. Coach, in talking about Braylon Braxton some, he reminds me a little bit of T.J. Finley and why.
Yep.
Not quite as big, but he reminds me in the way he moves, the way he plays the game. You know him well. In a situation like that, you talk about having recruited him literally twice, and he turned it down twice. When you see guys like that on the field, is it still fun to kind of rekindle that relationship? Because I'm sure you had a chance to visit with him in that recruiting process.
Yeah, for sure, and he knows how I feel about him. Great kid, and I'm just proud of him. And it's always good when you recruit someone like that and they turn out to be a good player, usually on the right guy. So great kid and really good player, and happy for all his success.
I know offensively breaking him down will come a little bit later, but I mean, as you stand here right now, where are they most dangerous? Running the ball, throwing the ball, handing it off? How do they do it?
They have some really good backs, some explosive receivers. I think they've done a good job of spreading the ball out to a bunch of different receivers. They got some dynamic running backs. Physical number 0 stands out to me. But he really makes them go. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything. He can run it. He can throw it. He's a great operator. He's continuing to mature as a quarterback, checking the ball down when they need to. Just operating the system at a high level, and it's a fun system too, very similar to ours. They're going to be wide splits, probably as fast as the team as we'll play this year as far as tempo goes. So, they got it going on right now.
Coach, I think when again early in the week, obviously, but as far as keys to Saturday, what's kind of hanging out the top of the board for you right now?
Still probably early, but obviously what they do on defense with the turnovers, that's gotten us 2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
So, I think ball security and some of them are, they're going to happen in football. They are. It's just part of the game, but we got to continue to be better in that area. And then I think on defense, third downs, just like the other night, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 13, you got to get off the field.
Yeah, exactly. All right, there's previous Southern Miss for you. That game comes up this Saturday, 2:30. We'll start the pregame at 1:45 on the Texas State Sports Network with Jeff Gandy and myself. We'll step aside for the moment. You can still get your questions in for fan Q&A. Come see us. That's coming up next on the Eat 'em Up radio show from Learfield.
Are you ready for some Bobcat football? Want to show up to your next tailgate in style? Text TXFARM to 83200 for your chance to win a Bobcats-themed tailgate package. One lucky winner will get a complete tailgate package that includes tents, chairs, coolers, koozies, and more. Register to win this amazing tailgate package by texting TXFARM to 83200. Brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, proud partner of Texas State Athletics.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the top college athletic programs for the 2025-26 college athletic season? Check out the criteria and follow the year-long standings of your favorite team at L Directors Cup on the X platform or online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2026 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. The Learfield Directors Cup, powered by NACDA, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
At Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos, we are proud to provide comprehensive health care to our San Marcos and Central Texas families. From advanced cardiovascular, bariatrics, orthopedic, and surgical care to 24/7 emergency care. In partnership with a team of dedicated primary and specialty care physicians, we are privileged to care for our rapidly growing San Marcos and Central Texas communities. We're here when you need us, bringing more physicians, more services, and more technology closer to home. Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos. Your health, your life, our purpose. When you're on the move and looking for nonstop college sports action, get the Varsity Network app and take the game with you everywhere. Stream live play-by-play from schools across the country right from your phone, free. Catch hundreds of weekly podcasts, including shows from your favorite teams, all in one place. From football Saturdays to midweek hoops, it's your all-access pass to the college sports world. Whether it's game day or just your daily drive, the Varsity Network app has you covered. Download now and listen live for free on the Varsity Network app.
A reminder that the 2025 Texas State football season is presented by HEB. Here, everything is better. Welcome back to the Eat 'em Up Radio Show. Brant Freeman alongside Clint Shields. We're joined by head coach G.J. Kenny. Before we continue with the show, I want to give a shout out to Texas State Soccer Sun Belt Conference champions, winning the Sun Belt tournament for the first time ever this past weekend, beating ULM in the finals 1-0. Their opponent, the Baylor Bears in Waco, this Friday at 7 o'clock.
Did they not play already this season?
They did in the regular season here in St. Marcos.
That's right.
Yeah. So, with that, let's now turn to our fan questions with Coach Kenny. And the first question comes from Danny out of Round Rock. Coach, how do you feel about cold weather games now that the temperatures are starting to drop some?
I like warm weather games better.
Okay.
I don't know that Southern or Hattiesburg's necessarily,
It's not exactly
Lambeau Field.
Right, yes. All right, but, it's cooler than it was certainly back in September. Next question, Anna out of New Braunfels. With Charlie Huff coming from Marshall, do you ever go back to watch any of their games from last year? We're looking forward to this game coming up this weekend.
Yep, we will exhaust the process, the film watching.
Is that ever looking too far back when you go from a year ago looking at film?
You have to you got to watch it and do your due diligence, and also kind of put the puzzle pieces together. And you have different players, so usually year to year you can have a little bit different schemes based off your personnel.
And does information overload ever enter into it? You've seen too much. You've seen everything there is.
Yeah, it happens a little bit.
Coach, we haven't brought this up yet. This next question comes from John Navarrete out of St. Marcos. Of course, the decision came from the conference earlier today about players for both programs being suspended following the post-game altercation. So John asks, how much does losing 6 players for you affect this Saturday's game in terms of your depth?
Yeah, it's never a good thing. And like I said earlier, I thought the Sun Belt did a really good job with, doing their process and respect their decision. And, we'll put together a really good team to go out there and compete on Saturday.
And I would just add to that. You and I have talked about this many times. Many coaches have next man up mentality. You got guys waiting they're not necessarily waiting in the wings. You rotate plenty. It just opens up for extra opportunities for guys,
sure.
I would think.
For sure. And there's a lot of guys that are capable, and we've recruited them for a reason, and they got to come out there and play.
All right, Coach, Brent Fields from Blanco talking Braylon Braxton, his running ability. Is it more scramble or direct running? You saw a whole lot of direct running out of Lynch Winfield the other day.
Yeah, he can do both. He has the ability to do both. I think obviously, they want to keep him healthy and keep him in the pocket and throw the ball around. But when needed, he can definitely, pull it down and run.
All right, Karen Chisholm. Yes, it's great that your family gets to travel with y'all. How are your boys on the plane? Do they always want to get to sit on Daddy's lap? I assume it's on the plane also.
They love it. This has been really fun for me. Getting them to, kind of understand what's going on now, and getting to travel and they're Texas State through and through. They do not like Arkansas State. They do not like Louisiana Lafayette. They're starting to understand things, and they have a blast, and they definitely want to sit with Mom until they get really tired. Then they come sit with Dad.
I see. I can attest to them having fun. Saturday morning, Jeff and I got up and had breakfast, before going over to the stadium. It was early, and I got off the elevator, and I heard noise, and your youngest boy runs around the corner with Summer right behind him. I was like, it's not even 8 o'clock.
Oh, no. They wake up, especially with the new time change. I mean, they're up early, and they're excited about life.
All right, Russell Nash from the internet tonight. You've hit some deep balls the last couple of weeks. Southern Miss defensively, do you see some opportunities to continue doing that?
You don't see any opportunities, but hopefully we can create some. They're really good against that. I think that's what they've kind of made a living on with their corners, and they do a really good job. It's hard to get the ball off with the front, and then when the ball's in there, they have great ball skills on the back end.
All right, those are fan questions for this week's show. You mentioned Coach Chisholm submitting a question. Do you want to shout out Coach Chisholm? We've talked a lot about this being the 20-year anniversary of the 05 football team. Well, it was also the 20-year anniversary for the 05 volleyball Southland Championship team as well. Coach Chisholm was out there on Saturday as a part of the reunion. Congratulations, Coach Chisholm, on celebrating that milestone. And also, how about Bobcat volleyball right now? They've won 6 straight.
Yeah, exactly.
They're getting hot right now at the right time of year. and they close out the regular season this weekend against JMU for a big matchup against the Dukes. Coach, coming up next in the show, we're going to visit with Jaden Rios, one of the players new to your program, a transfer out of East Texas A&M. I noticed his stock continues to rise. He's made a lot of plays the past couple of weeks. Got his first pick a couple of games ago at 3 pass breakups this past Saturday against the Cajuns. What can you tell us about Jaden Rios?
Yeah, he's definitely playing his best ball of the season right now, and he's played great all year. Obviously, you can see him and see the length and the size, but what you don't see is the intelligence, the character, and what really takes to be a really good football player at this level. And super proud of him and coming in there as a new guy. You know, he's bought in and just an unbelievable kid, and you know, he's got a really bright future. He really does, and he'll be one of those Bobcats in the NFL you'll see playing some preseason football in a couple months.
Well, his former teammate, East Texas A&M, did just that. Play for you, Jordan Polk. So, Coach, we're looking forward to that conversation. Thanks so much for joining us, and good luck this weekend against Southern
Thank you.
Miss. All right, then again, Bobcat head coach G.J. Kinney joining us up next. We visit with Jaden Rios on the Texas State Sports Network. This is the Eat 'em Up Radio Show from Learfield.
Hi there, this is Steve Eisen, founder of Rebecca Creek Whiskey. Rebecca Creek Whiskey is a blended whiskey made in the Texas Hill Country. It is made with rye, yellow corn, malted barley, 4 to 8 years on the average age of the blends. Rebecca Creek Whiskey is made with limestone filtered water. Try our award-winning whiskey. Rebecca Creek Whiskey, fine-tuned whiskey.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the top college athletic programs for the 2025-26 college athletic season? Check out the criteria and follow the year-long standings of your favorite team at L Directors Cup on the X platform or online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2026 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. The Learfield Directors Cup, powered by NACTA, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
When my paycheck comes, I always plan lunch with my friends. So getting to do that 2 days early really hits the spot.
At UFCU, we help you make the most of your money. With over 55,000 fee-free ATMs and payment up to 2 days early, finances fit your life, not the other way around.
Oh, and splitting the check is simple. Just an easy transfer right from the app.
Become a member and open an account today. UFCU, it all starts with you. Must meet eligibility requirements. Visit ufcu.org for more information. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you're on the move and looking for nonstop college sports action, get the Varsity Network app and take the game with you everywhere. Stream live play-by-play from schools across the country right from your phone, free. Catch hundreds of weekly podcasts, including shows from your favorite teams, all in one place. From football Saturdays to midweek hoops, it's your all-access pass to the college sports world. Whether it's game day or just your daily drive, the Varsity Network app has you covered. Download now and listen live for free on the Varsity Network app.
Back inside Chimmy's in San Marcos, Texas, for the Eat 'em Up Radio Show with G.J. Kinney on this Monday night into our second half hour. Clint Shields along with Brant Freeman as we move into our player spotlight tonight, presented by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952 and a proud sponsor of Texas State Athletics. Joining us tonight, one of the newest Bobcats, meaning first year here, cornerback Jaden Rios. Jaden, pleasure to have you with us. Thanks for taking some time to visit with us.
Thank you for having me. Yes, sir.
Jaden coming off of I think a big individual ball game. Battle back from some injuries about, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Came up with your first interception of the season against James Madison a couple of games back the other night. 3 pass breakups, one of which led to an interception, one of the tip drill interceptions, and then another, it was just a remarkable pass breakup by you, a completed pass to the tight end, 100% all the way, and you reached in literally from behind him and stripped the ball out. It was a big play in setting up a punt, but, when you think back to kind of how this season's gone, obviously not what you wanted yet in terms of wins and losses, but how's this season gone for you this season being in San Marcos?
I mean, for me personally, I'll say it's been a good step up. I mean, if you follow me as a player, I came from an FCS school. Y'all had a former player here last year who came from the same school I did. So it was a great opportunity for me to just experience some really good FBS football and play at a high level and just match step for step with anybody on the field. So, yeah.
You mentioned Jordan Polk the former player having been here before you, obviously got an opportunity to go on with the New England Patriots back in the preseason. Was he influential in getting you to come here, and do you have an opportunity to stay in touch with him now?
Definitely, yeah. No, we were really good friends. Like he was my first roommate at Commerce, so whenever he came here, he already had planned on trying to get me here within same time range. So he definitely played a big part in getting me here for sure.
Frisco Lone Star, where you went to high school. Did you grow up in that
Yeah, so I grew up like right on the line between Frisco and Little Elm, so I
area?
was
Okay.
always in between. Yeah.
Did you always know you'd go to Lone Star High School? Because I asked that question because while you were growing up, Frisco was adding about a high school a year, it seemed, for about 10 years. Did
Hmm.
you ever go to a different high school, or did you ever did you have any questions? I may be at Lone Star, I may be at somewhere else.
Nah, so I always wanted to go to Lone Star. I mean, they have. I mean, if you look at their pedigree, they have amazing athletes come out of there. So I always wanted to be a part of that, and it was a great high school to go to and play at that level in high school. So yeah.
You mentioned having started your career at East Texas A&M. I think 4 years there, redshirted your first year,
Yeah.
and then you wind up in San Marcos. What was the journey like to get here to San Marcos, and why land here with Texas State?
I mean, I was a little under recruited out of high school. I wasn't like the biggest or nothing like that. I had just switched to corner. I started playing corner my senior year of high school, so it was kind of like under recruited for me because of COVID as well. So I took my chances at Commerce. It was the first year FCS D1, and I was like, put my best foot forward, go play the best football I can, and just do what I can to at least get an opportunity to play at a level I know I'm more than capable of playing at, which is where I'm at now.
Again, right now we're visiting with Jaden Rios, cornerback for Texas State's defense, and this is a radio show, and our radio shows are all about shout-outs. We give plenty of them all
Yes.
the time, right? We got Diamond Jim, we give him shout-outs. Coach Chisholm, give her shout-outs. John Navarrete. But Jaden, I want to give you a chance to give a shout-out. You brought somebody here with you tonight. Who's here with you?
Yes, sir. I brought my lovely girlfriend Savannah with me.
Savannah,
Yeah.
welcome to the show. So, Jaden, Clint alluded to this earlier. This season you played in 7 of the 9 games. You missed the first 2 conference games of the year. Very difficult 2 games to miss. Some games that came down to the wire.
Definitely.
Arkansas State and Troy came up and wonder what if, had you been healthy, if those games turned out differently. How difficult was it for you not to play in those 2?
No, it was really hard. I mean, I feel like the worst part is watching your team prepare to play for somebody and you can't go out there and help but be a good teammate. So I mean, in the position I was in, I was trying to be the best teammate I can, and all my people in the corner room are more than capable of playing high level football. So I mean, I believe in them, but I definitely wanted to be on the field with them for sure.
You talk to anybody in college football, and if you ask them when do you want to be playing your best ball, nobody says August or September.
Yeah.
Everybody says November is when they want to play their best football. And we
Definitely.
talked about your last 2 games. Had your first pick against James Madison, 3 pass breakups this past week against the Cajuns. One of them directly leading to a turnover. Do you feel as if you're playing your best ball right now?
No, I'm definitely getting my feet back running where I wanted to be. The little time I had off from my injury was not fun, but it also my body needs it. I played football for a long time, so it definitely felt good to get back a little bit fresh feet and get running back where I'm at now. So I feel good for sure.
I had the chance to ask Coach Kenny earlier tonight about being in this situation. Nobody envisioned that 5 weeks into Sun Belt play, the team would be 0-5, and again, 4 of those games have come down to a play or 2, and that's been it. So, how are the players handling the situation right now?
I mean, any sport you play, I mean, no one likes losing. I mean, every athlete's as competitive as it gets. So I mean, it's definitely not the most fun thing to be sitting there and losing. But I mean, every single way we're gonna put our best foot forward, and there's no team we'll ever go against not thinking we can't go win. Or and you line us up against anybody, we're more than confident that we have the ability to go beat them.
Something else that we talked with, well said, by the way, Jade, yes. Something else that Coach Kenny said when talking about you was about the potential future you have in football. We referenced Jordan Polk, who, of course, as Clint said, played with the Patriots in the preseason. He's had a shot at the next level. And Coach Kenny believes that you have that in you as well. What is it like to hear that from your head coach?
No, it's an absolute honor, especially coming from a man who's had a career in the NFL, had a career at the highest level. Like he knows what it takes to get there. So definitely a big compliment to me, but also just feels great to hear it from a person of such a high standard to hear that from for sure.
Tell us a little bit more about your experience as a student at Texas State. We know what you can do on the field. What's it been like for you to be on campus, enjoy the city of San Marcos? What are you studying? All that.
So I mean, I studied criminal justice. So I mean, a lot of my work is more to myself. Like, I have to write a lot and like it's a lot more studying, like books, not as much as math and all that kind of stuff. But major wise, I love it. Like criminal justice is cool. It's different. I started my college career as a business major, but that just wasn't for me. So I switched it to criminal justice. But as far as being in San Marcos, I mean, I love it. I mean, there's not much to not like. I mean, great scenery, like great people around campus. Like it's all just amazing.
What is it you like most about being in the city of San Marcos?
I mean that river's really fun. When that river's fun, it feels good.
Kelly can tell you all about that. Our university president, he jumped at it earlier today, celebrating with the soccer team. Well, Jane, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Jane, you're a National Honor Society member.
Yes, sir.
Coming out of high school, so you're talking about studying criminal justice. I just think, in the overall sense, how important is that education to you?
Definitely. I mean, considering I'll be like a first generation for my family, it's definitely a big honor to have the opportunity to even just get that degree, and especially coming from a good school like Texas State, it'll definitely be a big thing for me and my future.
One hurdler to another. In high school, you ran hurdles,
Yes,
highs or lows, both. What did you run?
I ran the 300 hurdles and the 110 hurdles.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You remember your best times?
A 15:02 for 110s, and I don't remember my 300 hurdles.
Better than you.
110s are easy to remember, and
Yeah.
that's getting it pretty good at 15:02. You go up against some good wide receivers on Saturdays, obviously out there on an island. You go up against some pretty good receivers every day of the week in practice around San Marcos. How much did those guys help you prepare for what you see on Saturday?
Nah, it's great. So I mean, you don't get a lot of work with smaller outside receivers these days. So going against, I mean, y'all know Bo and Chris Don. They're amazing athletes, amazing people. So it's definitely good to just go head to head with players like that at every level of sports. So definitely, it's good.
Early in the week of prep, obviously here, but what do you know about Southern Miss defensively? What do you expect to see out of the Golden Eagles this weekend?
I actually do know of the quarterback. He's from the same area as me, so I mean, I've watched him play since we were both in high school. He's a great athlete. I mean, big boy, can run, throw, and they got good receivers. I mean, they're a good team for sure.
I think I said defensively, obviously. I meant offensively.
Sure,
Of course, yeah.
But certainly. Jaden, thanks so much for the time. Good luck to you this
Thank you so
Saturday. We
much.
look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you.
Jaden Rios, our guest. Bobcats cornerback takes on Southern Miss this coming Saturday, 2:30 in the afternoon. We'll step aside. We'll talk men's hoops with Terrence Johnson next on the Eat 'em Up radio show on the Texas State Sports Network from Learfield.
Texas Disposal Systems is proud to be part of the San Marcos community since 2003. As the official waste and recycling sponsor for Texas State Athletics, we are committed to keeping the stadium clean and environmentally friendly. Bobcat fans, let's make a difference together. Do your part by recycling properly at all games. For more tips and info, visit texasdisposal.com. Texas Disposal Systems. Noticeably different, noticeably better.
The passion.
He's going to take it to the house. Dinner's cooking. Touchdown.
The fury.
There was flames on that ball.
Speed.
35-40. There he goes. Down the sideline.
It's the college football.
For the end zone. Got it for 6 points. You cannot hitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the barn. Back to the end zone. 20.
This is the College Football Bliss. Listen all season long on College Sports Now on the Varsity Network.
Hi, this is Fox San Antonio's Chuck Picatinny, and I'm News 4's Don Harris. One of the best things about our jobs is calling the games on Taco Cabana's Thursday Night Lights, every Thursday on CW35. Goes right and then takes it right back up the middle, and look at him finish the run. Firing, got it, hard! If you're interested in video production, journalism, or covering sports for a living, our stations have job opportunities you might want to check out. To see the possibilities, go to foxsanantonio.com/careers.
A true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude, gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids facing unthinkable medical circumstances. Team Impact matches children facing serious illness and disability with college sports teams, creating a long-term, life-changing experience for everyone involved. Join us in the movement to get all kids in the game. Visit teamimpact.org to learn more. Team Impact. All in, all together.
And welcome back to the Eat 'em Up radio show. Looking ahead at Texas State against Southern Miss this Saturday from Hattiesburg. The final road game of the year for the Bobcats coming up in Sun Belt Conference play. As now we turn the page and talk about men's basketball with head men's basketball coach Terrence Johnson. Coach TJ in his sixth season at Texas State as the head coach, the sixth winningest coach in program history, 89 wins, and he is the only two-time conference coach of the year in program history. And coach, again, the resume for you is long and well accomplished. As you look back at what you've done at Texas State, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of the our APR and our graduation rate. I
Yeah.
think we've done a really, really good job with that. And I'm also most proud of our guys in the alumni base. Before last year, my previous years here, I don't know if we had any alumni recognition games and things of that nature. Coach Dante Mathis, along with our marketing department and our great administration, thought it was important for us to do that. We were able to get Southwest Texas jerseys and things of that nature, and just seeing the faces of all of the guys that paved the way, and just so many guys coming and thanking us for the gear and the recognition, and just saying that they hadn't been back in so many years, and so it's something that we want to keep going. It was a proud moment right there.
Coach, you're wearing the T-shirt Mine Right Monday,
Yeah.
and last Monday you opened up the season. It was opening
Yeah.
day around the nation college basketball. Wound up playing 3 games opening week. You won the home game against A&M San Antonio. You had a really tough game this past Saturday against Tulane, in which you had to leave, unable to hold on. What have you learned about your team over the first 3 games of the year?
Well, I will tell you this: we've gotten a whole lot better since Monday.
Yeah.
Definitely Monday we were certainly thrown into the fire. We looked like a group that had missed some veteran leadership from the year before. We also looked like a group that had 12 new players. I will say that we played against a well put together team and a well coached and a great environment on Monday, and then we came home and got some home cooking and played against a team that we felt comfortable that we should have beaten. And then I thought that we picked up where we left off at, in the first half versus Tulane. I felt like we got tired and we lost our integrity defensively, and we started overthinking some things offensively, and we started playing the score a little bit. And credit them; they did a really good job, hit some tough shots, and put us in a little bit of a bind, especially when you're not guarding without fouling. Um, and those are the things that we need to learn from. We definitely do. It's early in the season, so we're not going to throw out the baby with the bathwater. But we do have some things that we can look back on and say that we improved from Monday to Saturday.
Well, Coach, looking ahead, you have a 5-game homestand. It starts Wednesday against longtime rival UTSA. Looking forward to the start of that. Also, Saturday game against Texas. Looking forward to the game on Saturday, not seeing UTSA. You get Texas Southern on Saturday after that. How big of an opportunity is this for your team to play 5 straight games at home?
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. This is one of the things that our athletic director, Don Coryell, wanted to focus on, and that's getting us more home games. So we certainly appreciate that. Our fan base is not accustomed to really seeing us at home this much. So I think that they deserve the opportunity to get to know these guys and just really understand what it's like for us to get off to a good start in non-conference play. So it's huge. 5 games at home. I think anybody in the country will take that. So we're excited about that for sure.
Coach, 2025 basketball for you here. Your current roster: Mark Drone, Caden Gums, Frank Emu. The only 3 guys who are back, and we didn't say Frank at all last year due to injury. So you only get 2 guys back who had meaningful minutes for you last season, and Mark didn't even play the latter half of the season. So to that point, to that end right there, how grueling now is the recruitment game for you and your coaching staff? In any given year, not knowing what you're going to have to replace.
Yeah, I think everybody it's an even playing field for everybody. So I think we understand that. Uh, I think the biggest thing about recruitment is that when you're a program like we are, when you're a place like San Marcos, when you have an athletic staff like we have, everything is built upon relationships. I think I've answered the same question here over the last 11 years. Like, what's the best thing about St. Martin's? Like the people. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I love the river too, but it's clearly the people. So, and now we're moving into a different landscape of college athletics, and things are more transactional. So, I think what we have to do is we have to understand that that should not change our approach. but I think it should temper and level our, our feelings towards what's being done and how it's being done. So we manage our expectations, but we keep the same approach.
You use the word landscape there. You're literally moving into a new landscape this time next year, moving into the Pac-12. The Sun Belt's traditionally been such a guard-oriented league. When it comes to that recruiting, building a roster, how much do you have to kind of tweak what you do going into a conference that will be as basketball rich and maybe basketball different that the Pac-12 will be?
Yeah, I don't know if I can if when I think about the new Pac-12, if I see it as a necessary football league. Just from our perspective, you got two teams that's been to the Final Four in the
Right.
last 4 years. So for me, it is definitely a basketball league. And when you mention the likes of San Diego State and Gonzaga, Boise State, Colorado State, you know exactly what you're getting from those schools. And not to mention Washington State and Utah State and the atmospheres that those schools are going to provide. So I do think something needs to change, and I think what needs to change, we have to broaden our recruiting base. It needs to change just a little bit for every one junior college player that we have. If you look at any school in that conference, they're going to probably have, probably going to have a European player. So just the style of play is a whole lot different. I think we bring a very unique style of play. We're not in drop coverage. We're a little bit more aggressive, offensively aggressive and defensively aggressive. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be a challenge both ways, offensively and defensively. But I think we present challenges as well.
That's the then obviously back to the now in the Sun Belt race that is still to come after your non-conference schedule. When you look at the Sun Belt, especially the Sun Belt West, where do you think your group fits in? Who do you think is kind of the top dog going into the conference play here in a few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it's the usual suspects. When it comes down to this, you're gonna have to if you're on the west side, you're gonna have to go through Troy, of course. Like we know that we've had to do that in both of our championship runs. And then if you're talking about the East, you're gonna have to go through James Madison. I think everybody understands that. Which we're fine against both of those teams. I think over the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years, we've managed to be able to compete at a high level against both of those teams. So I think we match up very well with both of those teams. It's a league in which not one school is returning an all-conference player. So you're going to hear about a lot of new names. It's going to be the team that's have the ability to stay healthy and connect and gel. That's going to kind of be there at the end.
I think 3 games in for you. What do you think is the strength of this team? All these new faces on your roster. What's your anticipated strength here?
Yeah, it's depth.
Depth.
Yeah. So we have a deep team. We got to get a couple of guys healthy, but our depth at a couple of positions, the point guard position with Kai Purnell along with Caden Gums and Mark Drone, and then you turn around at the 5 position, with Tate Knox, Makai Willis and Robert Fields. If you have that kind of depth and then you have versatility in the middle with those 3s and those 2s, I think you're looking at a pretty deep team.
Clint alluded to roster turnover, and it's such a big thing in college basketball these days with the transfer portal. I don't know if the sport's been more impacted by the portal than college basketball has. And it can be very difficult to establish leadership year in and year out. How do you go about establishing a leadership within the program when you don't know who those players are going to be necessarily going into the year?
Yeah, so we have a saying, we captains are selected and leaders emerge. So it's going to be through adversity, controlled adversity, uncontrolled adversity. It's going to be through something like that where your leader is going to emerge. As of right now, we're still searching for that. But I do think that we have the right guys in the locker room, and I do believe that there's a few of them that have what it takes, and they just need the confidence and the belief to be empowered in order to be able to do that.
Well, Coach, again, a big 5-game homestead opens for you on Wednesday against UTSA. Best of luck with that, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Coach TJ joining us here on the Eat 'em Up Radio Show. When we come back, Glenn and I wrap things up on the Texas State Sports Network. This is the Eat 'em Up Radio Show from Learfield.
Are you ready for some Bobcat football? Want to show up to your next tailgate in style? Text TXFARM to 83200 for your chance to win a Bobcats-themed tailgate package. One lucky winner will get a complete tailgate package that includes tents, chairs, coolers, koozies, and more. Register to win this amazing tailgate package by texting TXFARM to 83200. Brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, proud partner of Texas State Athletics.
Hi there, this is Steve Eisen, founder of Rebecca Creek Distillery. We built the first distillery in the South in 100 years since Prohibition, right here in San Antonio. We are located at 281 and Bulverde Road. We are open Wednesday through Sundays with live music, barbecue, dog park, and tours every hour. Come check out our new sports bar and watch the game. At Rebecca Creek Distillery, come taste Rebecca Creek Whiskey, Texas Ranger Whiskey in flavors, and Enchanted Rock Vodka in flavors. Please sip responsibly.
Aw, shucks. The game's on TV, but I can't listen to the call of my favorite team broadcasters.
Never fear, Sync My Game is here.
Sync My Game?
Yes, Sync My Game. If you have a DVR and streaming device, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield. It's never been easier to hear the impassioned voices of your favorite radio crew synced with the TV.
Wow, thank you, Mr.
Just remember, syncmygame.com.
At Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos, we are proud to provide comprehensive health care to our San Marcos and Central Texas families. From advanced cardiovascular, bariatrics, orthopedic, and surgical care to 24/7 emergency care. In partnership with a team of dedicated primary and specialty care physicians, we are privileged to care for our rapidly growing San Marcos and Central Texas communities. We're here when you need us, bringing more physicians, more services, and more technology closer to home. Christus Santa Rosa Hospital San Marcos. Your health, your life, our purpose.
Tonight's broadcast of the Eat 'em Up Radio Show can be heard worldwide on the Varsity Network. When you're out of town and want to keep up with live college sports, and download the Varsity Network app, which is available for both Apple and Android. Listen to your favorite team live with the Varsity Network app and download it today. Brant Freeman here to wrap things up with Clint Shields as the Bobcats get ready to take on the Golden Eagles this Saturday in Hattiesburg, with, again, a lot happening at Texas State as well. Mentioned the start of a big 5-game homestand for basketball begins Wednesday against longtime rival UTSA. Soccer playing in the first round of the NCAA tournament against Baylor coming up Friday in Waco. Big final regular season series for volleyball this weekend in James Madison. This is a big week here, Clint.
Yeah, it is. You got the postseason obviously wrapped up for soccer and volleyball, the reigning champs in the Sun Belt tournaments. You know, like we talked about earlier, getting hot at the right time, having won 6 straight. Now, Coastal's not this year, I think, what they have been in recent years, but still to sweep them in 2, and not just in that, but sweep them in 3 sets on Friday night and then win a 5-setter on Saturday. That's an impressive weekend. So, yeah, Sean and his gang going at the right time.
You know, and a note about the game coming up Saturday in Hattiesburg, it's remarkable what the Golden Eagles have done. You know, a year ago, this program was mired in a very difficult season. A 1-win campaign. They came here, lost by 55, a midseason coaching change, and many thought it was going to take years to rebuild Southern Miss to the glory days they had in Conference USA. Forget the Sun Belt. And now Charlie Huff has come in, and they've been arguably the story in the Sun Belt this year. You go from a automatic W in somebody's schedule, to now they're the front runners in the West with a chance to represent the division of the championship game.
Yeah, you can look at the job Bob Chesney's done at James Madison, make your case for Coach of the Year. You can look at the job Charles Huff's done at Southern Miss, and I think it probably trumps that just based on the expectations going into the year that they had at Southern Miss. It was a big unknown. I think it shows what you can do with the right coaching hire, but also the transfer portal, being able to bring in the guys who were with him at Marshall, plus others, plus whoever stayed behind in Hattiesburg when he got there. But man, you can't do anything but tip your hat to the job that they've done. They're playing hard for he and that staff. They're playing fast and confident on offense, as G.J. Kinney talked about. They're playing physical and ball hawking in the secondary on defense. So, you know, you got to figure they're doing things right on special teams as well. So on all 3 sides of the ball, I think they've got it going right now. It'll be a big challenge coming up for the Cats on Saturday. But you and I've seen this too many times in the game of football to just write it off. You know, it's not an impossible task going into Hattiesburg and taking it to the fourth quarter and finding another way to win. You think about these conference losses: Arkansas State, Marshall, Louisiana, 3 on the road by a total of 10 points. It'll keep you up for weeks if you really are or a coach or a fan and get bogged down with it. But you know, the Cats have proven time and again they'll get up and answer the bell, and they'll do it again on Saturday.
Again, the game kicks off at 2:30 Saturday in Hattiesburg from The Rock. We go on the air across the network at 1:45. Thanks again to head coach G.J. Kenny, Jane Rios, and head men's basketball coach Terrence Johnson. For Clint Shields, I'm Brad Freeman saying good night and go Cats.